welcome. We are live with an amazing panel today, and we're talking about GLP-1s. And the first thing I want to know, friends, is what was your biggest fear when you first started a GLP-1? Let's start with Grant.
Well, I would have to say my biggest fear was of not working at all. There was times when, I kept closed just because I didn't think it was going to work, but thankfully I was wrong.
Yes. Awesome. How about you, Pammy?
So my biggest fear was, is this going to be another failed attempt? Because I've been through many different diets and I've gained and lost and gained and lost. So that was my biggest fear before I said anything to people.
Yes, I get that. How about you, Candy K?
My biggest fear was that despite everything that you've heard and I've seen with people's significant weight loss and using GLP-1 medications, my biggest fear was that the medicine, for whatever reasons, just would not work for me.
Yeah, it's amazing how we share that. I felt the same way. Let me just tell everybody what we're doing today. My name is Cara. This is Be Well with Cara, and my friends are here today with us to help us to understand a little bit about how they have felt taking a GLP-1 medication. GLP-1 medications, for instance, are Zepbound, Mounjaro, Wegovy, Ozempic, tirzepatide, and semaglutide. So today we're going to talk about just how we felt. We're going to face some fears and we are going to overcome them together. So I have another question for you guys. What gave you the courage to begin in the first place? Because we've already established that you had some fears. So what gave you the courage to start? Let's start again with Grant, please.
Well, it was just a support from Christy, my wife, for one. She finally gave me the courage to move forward on doing something. I mean, it wasn't necessarily GLP-1, but that's what it ended up being. And, I knew I had to do something at 40, so bring it on.
That's amazing. I love that you have that support. We love Christy. We love her. All right. How about you, Pammy?
So my courage started with my grandson's cancer treatment and his doctor telling me like I should be out walking with him too. And he was concerned that he needed me to be there for him to help him through this treatment. And so it gave me that courage to try it again. It wasn't until 8 months later that I actually started the GLP-1, but I started my wellness journey at that time. And my daughter told me about it. So I knew it was something I needed to try, and I didn't think a whole lot about it, and I just did it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. This is great courage. So how about you, Candy K?
I was super excited. So despite my wondering, is this medication going to work for me in the way that I've seen it be such a blessing to so many folks in their lives and in their health, I was actually gung-ho for the medication. And I went in and I asked for Zepbound. That's my GLP-1. I asked for Zepbound by name. And my doctor was very enthusiastic. And that kind of, to me, affirmed that this was a good choice for me. So I did not have a fear about taking the medication. Now, I will say, I do have taking the injections as a self-pay customer. I have to inject the medication myself using a syringe and a small vial of a microdose of medication each week. That still worried me, and it still worries me to this day. But I would still absolutely, hands down, without a second thought, I would still choose my Zepbound weight loss journey.
That's amazing to hear. So Trina has joined us, and we would love to hear from Trina. Trina, we're talking about what gave you the courage to begin your GLP-1.
Well, mine is a little different. Mine is more of the, the diabetic side of things. Is to maintain my glucose levels as well as my weight loss. So I'm on Mounjaro. I just got the okay to titrate up to the 7.5 Thursday. I'm waiting on that one to come in. So it's a little both. I mean, I was motivated to try. I mean, at this point, I'm willing to any suggestions would help.
Awesome. I'm sure we'll get more into that, but thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's
Oh, no
amazing.
problem.
All right, I want to ask you all another question. What would you say challenged you the most during the early weeks of taking your GLP-1 medication? Let's start this time with Pammy.
Well, the challenge I would say would be constipation. So, because I was already, I'm a former bariatrics patient, and so what I knew worked for me was eating low carb, and I knew the things that I needed to eat, and so that kind of came naturally to me as to what to change with my food. Hydration was a key point for me because I do not like plain water, so I had to find different ways to get that water in, and then and to find what type of like supplements do I need to take so that I can stay ahead of the constipation. Because having like some really bad experiences after 1 month. It was like 1 month into it, and I thought I was going to have an ER trip, a trip to the ER. So I learned pretty fast. Didn't want to be embarrassed with that. So it's one of those things that's constant. It's like hydration and do the things that you find that works for you.
Yes, I agree. I've got my water too, and it's just a miserable feeling. Let's continue. Grant, would you share with us what you felt challenged you most in your early weeks taking your GLP-1 medication?
You know, I had more trouble with the diarrhea at first, and I ended up having to remind myself I got to keep going. I can't give in to this. Oh, here's metformin again.
Mm.
I'm not going to be able to get through this. But having the support of channels like yours, Cara, and others at that start, it really helped me realize you got to let your body adjust and get used to this medication to finally get over that hump.
Yes, I agree. Trina, it sounds like you might have something on your heart, so you go ahead and you be next, please.
No, it just like they said. I mean, it's the motivation to keep going. The constipation was challenging. I like water. I drink water. I cut out all sodas years ago, so water is like my go-to. So, but yeah, it's more of the protein getting. I mean, the desire to. I have to eat something because I can go hours without eating anything. But with me being type 2 diabetic, I have to eat something.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I mean, it's hard at first, but I mean, just gotta have that motivation. My kids are a motivation to me. My parents are a motivation to me. Creators like you guys are motivations for me to keep going. I mean, I just gotta stick with it and keep going.
Amen. I feel the same. And all of you are, just for the record, inspirations to me for sure. I'm so grateful for this community. It's a beautiful community. And I just want to take a minute to say hello to everybody that I'm seeing chiming in the chat. We're so glad you're here. And tell us how you're feeling. Tell us whatever you want to share today. And we'd love to hear from you. Let me take this moment also to say, if you are not already subscribed to these amazing people's channels, take the hint. As soon as we're done here, run to do that. These are great people. And even though we talk about some of the same things, this community is amazing to me because even though we talk about similar content, it's so specific to each one of us because these bodies are so unique. And you can learn and glean from people because sometimes you might not have gone through something yet, but it might be coming for you. So just keep that in mind. I want to ask another question of the panel. What helped you overcome those challenges? You touched on some of that, but let's go a little bit deeper. Anything else that you want to share about that? We want to hear it. So right now, let's start with Pammy. We'll start with you again.
So I did start keeping a journal. I had a little
Mm.
book with me at work, and I would write down things that, like, what I was eating and how did I feel, what were my emotions, and when was my shot day, and all those kind of things. And that kind of helped me start some data to kind of see how my body was reacting. I did weigh every day, and I still do. I like to see the data to know that I, go up and down all the time, but just tracking and kind of seeing, what was helping, what I was going through, and if there were certain foods that I ate that maybe didn't agree with me, then I could see that. So yeah, a little bit of journaling, different journaling than what you typically hear, like people journal their thoughts and things, but it was more like a tracking system for me.
Mhm. I love that. Same here. I was never big on that before, but with this journey, it's so helpful because sometimes you think you're going to remember something that happened forever, but the time is moving so quickly. So it's good to be able to look back. I agree. Let's talk about that with Grant. Tell us more about that, Grant.
Well, I kind of already touched on a little
Yeah.
bit, just as support from so many channels here, but just taking one day at a time, just like you do everything else in life. That's how I had to get over that challenge because it's so easy to concentrate on the bad on anything in life, especially these side effects that we can kind of get, especially at first. I was kind of talking about this yesterday to my best friend from school. He just started Zepbound.
Awesome.
He's like, and he texts me and says, "Do you have any pointers?" I'm like, "Do you really think I can text that?"
You should have texted him a link to your channel.
Oh, well, he
It's
had
all
that.
in there.
He said he'd already been watching some of that, but
Oh.
I promptly called him and just started going over. And the main thing I said was, "Don't give up," because that initial month to 2 months is so vital not to give up and let it do its thing because it's basically relearning your body
Mhm.
to listen to that GLP-1 and it's introducing a synthetic version of it, but it's got to have time to do that.
Absolutely.
So, I'm glad to be able to do that for others now too.
Absolutely. Thank you. Trina, did you want to speak to that?
Um, I'm just gonna piggyback off of them. I mean, it's more of, like my son, he just texts me right now and talking about some, "Mom, did you eat?" you know,
Oh.
because he knows I don't eat. Okay, regardless, I'm busy doing other things, and he'll be like, "Mom, did you stop and eat something? Gotta have something." So, yeah, as long as I keep getting that constant reminder, from my kids, other people, I'm like, I'm brushed them off, but as long as my kids, my grandkids, they'll call me up and say, "Mom, Grandma, you gotta eat." It doesn't matter. You stop what you're doing and go eat something.
Yeah.
So
I love
it's,
it. Oh, I'm sorry.
I love
Yes.
that they are motivators for me,
Yes.
and it's just a wonderful thing.
Yes. I love hearing that because what everybody needs to realize is you do have days when you can just forget to eat
Right.
unless you're intentional about it. So I've even set some alarms sometimes when the days where I feel a lot of satiety and appetite suppression, I'm like, I better make a reminder or I'm going to just keep working and keep doing things. And so, yeah, that's a great, great, great reminder. So I want to ask one more question before, well, a couple more. What concerns do you still have today? Let's start with Kendi K. Are you in a position where you can chime in for us?
Sure. Thank you
Great.
so much, Cara, for hosting us for the GLP-1 Real Talk Live channel. And what concerns me is that my ability to lose as much weight, and y'all, just to be completely honest here, I am questioning at this moment because I do have a YouTube channel. should I be chronicling my weight loss journey on Zepbound on YouTube? Because I know so many of you all, and you guys are good folks who talk about their GLP-1 journeys and their weight loss journeys. But for me and my mental health, and just because I just took my week 20 dose over the weekend, and I'm just so new to it, and I'm still, as Grant mentioned, managing, diarrhea if I eat the wrong things, or the other side of that, the constipation, because of as a side effect of the medication. And I just wonder, should I be chronicling this journey? Is that what's best for me and my weight loss journey at this moment? And so that is my real truth.
Mm-hmm. I love that you're sharing that with us. Thank you so much. So for people who don't know, Kendi K and I are probably the newest people on the panel today. And so we've both been in this about 4 months. And so we're still new. So I'd love to hear from you OGs, you guys who've been in this a little bit longer than we have. What would you say to us when we're thinking things like that?
I guess I'll go first because I might be the oldest of the OGs because I started my Mounjaro in August of 2023. So I'm almost at my 3-year mark. Isn't that crazy? Like, oh my gosh, that's
wonderful.
amazing. Yes.
Amazing.
And I've been in maintenance for 1.5 years. So just thinking about when you talk about the fears and what our concerns, like, my first fear was, who else is in maintenance? It's like maintenance was a mystery. I was looking, just like in the beginning of my journey, there wasn't a lot of people talking about GLP-1s. I didn't even know what Mounjaro was. My daughter thankfully told me once my doctor told me that we were going to start metformin to get my A1C down. She then came back and said, "Mom, why don't you ask about Mounjaro? My coworkers are going to the health wellness centers and they're paying like a certain amount of money a month." And so I texted my PA and she sent me that script right away to my Costco pharmacy, and I was like on it right away. And I was right. I am so grateful to her. And if it weren't for her and sending it in for diabetic management, I wouldn't have had it covered by my insurance. So I know that's another big fear is, making sure that you get it covered. And, if you can get it covered, that continuance of the coverage too. So as long as they send it in, and I always ask, do you have to do my A1C? Like, will they take it away? And they said, this is for diabetic management. Diabetes doesn't go away; you manage it. So, so that's why they send it in like that. And so I'm very lucky. I was really upset when she told me, she's like, "You have diabetes." Technically, I was like a little bit below the little border, but I hear that doctors now are taking it serious sooner. And I'm glad that she does, because if you don't take care of it, it's going to go into this full blown, diabetes. So yes, there's so many things, and then I could just keep on going. But I'll let
great information, though. No, thank you for sharing that. That is exactly what we wanted to hear. And Grant, does anybody else want to chime in about that? Trina, did you want to speak to that? I know you all have said things that we could say kind of speak to that, but please, if you have any more wisdom to share, we'd love to hear it. Let's go Grant first.
Well, we Pam brought up something interesting. She was so early on, she didn't have a lot of support. And so that's one big difference for you, Kendi K, anybody else just now starting. We have so much more support on this now. But, one fear that I even still have at this point, now that I've reached maintenance as well, is this going to keep working for me? Mm-hmm. Or is it going to start wearing off? Time will tell on that. But thankfully, as time continues to go on, they're coming up with some other things to kind of supplement with it. So if I ever get to that point where it's not working for me anymore, I'll definitely be starting to research and watch other people on those. And hopefully the FDA will approve some more things by that point. Because that's another thing, my concerns are a lot of the tools that people are starting to use are not FDA approved. To each his own on that. I mean, you have to make your own decision. But to me, it's important to wait until they're FDA approved before you actually use it. Because, to be FDA approved, they do so much on trials and stuff to make sure, everything's fine with them. And to just start something before that, personally, is risky.
I have a question for you, Grant. You said something, and you said making sure that medications that you are using, for instance, I am a self-pay customer on Zepbound, and so my prescription for the month comes directly from Lilly Direct, from Eli Lilly. Is that what are they talking about? I hear that term in the YouTube streets, the gray market. Can you elaborate on that? Is that what you're talking about when you're talking about people using medications that are not FDA approved, or what does that term mean, Grant? Because again, I am so new to this.
Well, there are very many reputable places that do like compound medications, peptides that may not necessarily be FDA approved, but they do offer it. One example is NAD plus. Retatrutide is not actually FDA approved yet either, but there are some reputable places that offer it. Still risky to me. But then there's even other places that are more gray and not even reputable that offer medications. And, you want to steer clear of that. And that's why it's so important to have a community like this so you know who to go to if you have to go the compound route. Or get some peptides from reputable places so you know who to use. But like I said, there's some gray places. And just like the term means, gray area, not black, not white, really don't know. You need to try to steer clear of that if you can, and lean on each other so you know who you can trust. Because I know you can I think you use your HSA account, which some people have, which is great. But for those that don't have that or insurance or can afford out of pocket, compound is a great option. It really is. And, some are as low as $100 a month, even at that. So, but in that you want to, in my opinion, still use the medications that are actually already been FDA approved, and that's the Food Drug Administration. And I couldn't tell you all the hoops and trials that they do to make sure that tirzepatide and semaglutide were safe to use.
I love that. So, excuse me, I want to chime in here because I've had to do both. So initially, I started taking Zepbound, and I was self-pay like Candy K and some other people. And it was okay, but I knew that it was supposed to be temporary. I knew that I was going to be starting Taltz, Taltz. That is a medication that Eli Lilly also makes, and it's specifically for an autoimmune disease that I have, psoriatic arthritis. They have a program where if you take both, there is a savings card that allows me to pay $30 for both. And that is an amazing miracle for me. I don't want anybody to have the disease that I have to get it. So, there's that. But because I went that route, I had to wait though for everything to get approved. And there was a gap. There was a space of time, about 4 weeks, where I had already started Zepbound. I thought it was going to be a quick transition into the Taltz program. It took 6 weeks. So I had a gap. So I didn't want to stop and have to start again with Zepbound. So I prayed, I talked with my husband, I talked with my doctor, and I used the, just like the example that Grant gave, the wisdom from friends on here. Twan was the person at the time that I had heard she was taking tirzepatide from Eden, and I went for it. So I used them for the weeks in between Zepbound self-pay and having that savings card. And it was the same or maybe even better results for me. So I have to say it's been great having that experience just so that I can share that if somebody needs to do that, there are some options that are not scary. The doctor was great. It was all online, but he did a great job assuring me that I was, making the right decisions as to how much to take. I also learned with them how to split dose, and that was great. I'm not doing that now because with the program that I'm on, they send the the single dose pens, and I had a snafu happen with one of those, and I lost half a dose. So I'm not doing that right now. But everything is working great. So I would like to share just a reminder. We're here to share our personal experiences, and we're so happy to do that. It's an honor and a privilege to spend this time with you. But keep in mind, I am not a doctor. None of these friends are doctors. We are not medical professionals. And even if we were, we're not your medical professional. So make sure you take all of your concerns, all of your ideas, all your thoughts about the things that we're sharing to your medical professional. We're talking with our own, and we are not flying by the seat of our pants here. We don't recommend that by any stretch of the imagination. So let's say hello to some of our friends who are in the comments before we move on.
Okay, or do we want to? You do have a question that came in from the comments.
Oh, yes, let's do that. Okay, how soon will I notice a difference in my appetite? Oh, let's see. Kendi K, you look like you're chomping at the bit on that one.
I noticed it almost immediately. For instance, I did take my week 20 dose of Zepbound this past, it was about midnight Sunday morning, right? I fell asleep in my recliner and I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't take my dose that I usually take on Saturday. So I took it like at midnight on Sunday morning. And friends, I did not eat. And this is not a good thing. I'm just being honest, sharing my real truth. I did not eat yesterday until about 3 p.m. That was like the first time I even had a thought of food. So how soon will you notice the difference in your appetite? For me and my body, almost immediately. Almost immediately.
I had the same experience, especially the first dose. Within like 24 hours, my inflammation was lower and my appetite was thoroughly suppressed. Let's see. Trina, will you answer this question for us? How soon did you notice a difference in your appetite?
Well, I first was on Ozempic, and that took a while for me to notice. Now that I'm on Mounjaro, it's like immediately. There's some medications that I personally take that I have to have food in order to take them. So I really didn't see it, but you can feel it. You can feel that you're not hungry. You can feel that, okay, I need to eat this. I need to eat that. I only eat like breakfast and dinner. I don't eat during the day because of, some of the medications I have to take.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't want to cut you off. That's great. So Pammy, did you want to share anything there?
So I can relate. There have been several times when I've been out and about shopping, doing things, on the go. And I'm realized, oh my gosh, it's 3:00 and I haven't eaten. And it's funny that you mentioned 3:00. I don't know if that's just this thing in our body, right? Like, it's like, okay, 3:00, and I wasn't even hungry still, but I knew that I better eat something because my body needed the energy and I didn't want to crash and like have a low glucose or, eat a lot at the end of the day. So I have to make myself go in and eat something. So when I'm out and about and, traveling around or shopping or something, I do have to look at the clock too, because time can get away from you. Yeah.
Yes. It's funny. I've experienced the 3:00 phenomenon as well. That's really interesting.
Wow.
I had not heard other people talking about it. Grant, tell us about your thoughts on that. How soon will you notice? What do you think?
Well, for me, it was within a week. But as Kenny K said too, everybody's a little different. I've heard some people say it took a month or more. It just It just depends on your body and how much of the medication it needs to actually start to feel it. Some people can stay on 2.5 for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's amazing, but others have to titrate up every 4 weeks. So, it just depends. And,
right.
To go back for a second too, another concern that I've had more and anybody on a weight loss journey should have, whether it's on GLP-1 or not, is as you lose weight, your body continues to adjust. And in that, it also, even if you're diabetic or not, you can have low sugar episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big topic going around a few channels right now. It's like, even if you're not type 2, type 1, whatever, you need to be careful, especially in these summer months when you're more active. Because the more active you get and the less you weigh, your sugar is going to react to that too. And you're going to need more nutrients and keep your body having enough. You want a caloric deficit to lose weight. Yes. But, at a point, you have to make sure you have still a minimum amount of calories. So
absolutely,
everybody's a little different on that too. But, so keep in mind, whether you're diabetic or not, you need to listen to your body. And if you get weak, you need to have some kind of glucose liquid shots or some glucose tablets nearby to get your sugar back up to where it needs to be.
Absolutely.
And, another thing is people may want to monitor our blood sugar again as they get smaller, just to make sure, monitor and document and make sure it's staying stable where it needs to be and it's not continually dropping on you. And, CGMs, continuous glucose monitors, are a good idea for that. Even non-diabetics can get them, but that's all up to you. But, it's just a thought from recent things that have been coming up that I thought I would reiterate.
Wonderful insight. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's so important. I want to take a second and let us say hey to everybody who's in the comments. We're so glad y'all are here. Grace and Grow with Mary, we see you, friend. She said, thank you, Grant. And I saw earlier, she said hello to us. We're so glad you're here. And there's Larissa, author 2011. She's grateful for feeling healthy. I am too. I'm grateful that you are feeling healthy, and I'm grateful that we're all feeling healthy. It's such a blessing. Hey, Momo, there's Momo. Mounjaro Journey Pam, she's talking to you. Hello, doing well. Hope you are too. Yes, we're so glad everybody's doing well. Pammy is looking great. Everybody's looking good. There's our Sandra James living it. Hi, Miss Sandra. We love you. It's so good to see you. She said you all are looking amazing. Congratulations for choosing GLP-1 Journey. Thank you. Thank you. That is a friend of the GLP-1 community. An author, this is Larissa, author 2011, said, yes, Grant, one day at a time is key. It is. It is. Oh, hi, Shani. She's saying hi to everyone. Everybody say hello to Shani too. Hi, Nancy Germain. Hello, all you beautiful ladies in Grant. Beautiful Grant too. Oh, we're so grateful for our brother. He hangs with us. Boy, he hangs with us. All right. Well, it's so good to see all of you. We're so grateful that you're with us. And I have a special question. It's a reflection that, there's Hey, D-Bossway. She said, hello, Gemini Diva, Candy K, Pam, and Grant. Let's see if we have a few more. I don't want to miss anybody. All of you look great. Thank you, friend. You're so sweet. And Momo said, I currently use a Lingo CGM. That's a, what is it? Something glucose monitor. What is it?
Continuous glucose.
Continuous. There we go. Sensor. And I'm not diabetic, but it's been great to see how my blood glucose fluctuates with what I eat and don't eat. Yes. I've not used one, but I have friends who also are not diabetic, but they have chosen to use one. And it's amazing to see those fluctuations. So thanks for sharing that, Momo. Let's see. Do we have any more?
Can I sneak in a comment? Because Momo is talking about this CGM, and the CGM is that the thing that sticks to you.
Yes.
Well, I had a doctor visit and I was talking, I don't know, like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and I was talking to my primary care physician about some of the, like that feeling. And I guess it's, Pam mentioned it earlier today, when your blood pressure drops. Grant just talked about it, and that you might need to have some glucose tabs available because there's a lot of things happening within your body, right? And I am not diabetic. I have not had an A1C that has fallen, not even, thank gosh, not even an A1C that was pre-diabetic. And so, but my doctor said, well, what you're describing, it sounds like low blood sugar. And so, he told the nurse to go see what samples they had. And I left the doctor's office with a monitor thing.
All right.
But it wants me to stick my fingers and stuff with it, y'all. Y'all know how I am with y'all. I'm like, how often am I supposed to do this? Because I guess he wants me to kind of just track it and see. And he said the main thing is when you get that feeling that you needed to have, he just said you can even make your own little sugar water. Just, put some sugar in some water and drink it fast and stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Thanks for sharing that. It's challenging trying new things and doing things that we don't think we want to do, but we're rooting for you. So work with your doctor, because we're telling everybody that we just have to work with these doctors and trust they're telling us the right things. But you pray. You're a praying woman, and I'm sure it's going to work out. And you're going to know exactly what to do at the right time.
Yeah. And I think you have to respond to your body. I think more than anything, this is a powerful medication, and it is helping us to regain our health one day at a time. But recognize that we are injecting this subcutaneously into, our bodies every week. And friends, it is a prescription medication for a reason. And so you do need to do that under the care and supervision of a medical team, your primary care physician, whomever. A medical team should be helping you with this journey. And y'all, I ask lots of questions. I don't know about y'all, but I ask lots of questions at my medical visits. And, my doctor gives me, a 3-month dose and says, but if these things happen, I want to see you before that. And I've done that. I have saw my doctor before that and talked about, what I'm feeling, what's going on, and is this normal? Especially when I first started, I did have some itching. And it was just general itching all over my body, not at the injection site, just general itching. And my doctor wrote me a quick prescription for some some steroids, prednisone, about a week's worth of prednisone, knocked that right out. And so no more itching, and I've been going well ever since. But yeah, it is important to stay in close contact with your physician, your care team, when you're taking this prescription medication.
Yes. And I love that, we're calling it team now, because that's what it is. They're on our team. It's not, them trying to force us to do anything or us, begging for anything. We're on a team. And if you don't feel like that, it might not be that you're at your correct destination yet. You might need to keep looking, because it should be a team. So I have this special reflection that has just been on my mind for a couple of days. So I'd love to ask you all about this. If you could sit beside your past self before your first injection, or during one of the hardest, just most challenging moments on this journey, what would you say to encourage that version of yourself? Let's start with Pammy.
Could you tell I was really reflecting in there? Like, so what I could tell myself, that I have done hard things in life and I can do this too. And to stop feeling like a failure after weight gain, 26 years ago, having bariatric surgery, gastric bypass, and regaining that 150 pounds. I lived with a lot of feeling guilty and like a failure in one area, just kind of like Oprah. Like Oprah's so successful in her career life, and this one area was the hardest thing to overcome. And that's where learning about obesity as a disease has really helped me mentally, and to realize that it's not all my fault. Like my cravings all through life, even as a child and craving chocolate and things like that, is not my fault. And to know that, okay, Pam, like you could do this again and you're going to be successful. That's what I would tell myself. Like, just keep on trying, girl, because you've done hard things in life and you can do this too.
Yes. I love that. Yes. I identify with so much of what you said. And thank you for sharing that. That is, I'm
Yes.
so grateful that we're in a time where we are able to learn that it wasn't our fault. It doesn't mean we don't have culpability. It doesn't mean we don't have responsibility to take care of ourselves going forward. But the amount of kindness that we can offer ourselves, understanding it's not all your fault, is life-changing. I'd love to hear what you're thinking about this, Grant. What would you tell your former self?
Yeah, I was trying to think of a good way to put this, but I would probably, my almost 42-year-old self would look at my 40-year-old self and say, look, you're not dumb. You don't think you are, and don't think this is all your fault, but you need to get out of your man brain, get out of your denial, your immature denial. I felt like I used to have, of just ignoring something like it's going to go away, and do this. And that's what I finally had to do. It's like, I got too much in this life to live for, and we all do, to continually ignore the problem and get worse each and every day, to where, in 5 years, I'll be the same age as when my father passed away.
That's right.
And so that's something that finally resonated with me. Finally. And I've mentioned this before, but nobody pushed me, but they showed what I should be doing in their actions, and Christy included. So, I thank her for that witness to me without preaching to me. And, so I hope that answered your question.
Absolutely. Beautifully so. Thank you. Yeah, that means a lot. And just for the record, I don't have a man brain, but I had to tell myself the same kinds of things. So don't be hard on my brother. You be kind to yourself. I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Grant. So, Trina, do you feel like sharing your thoughts about that question? Like, what would you tell your former self?
I would tell my former self that it's okay. I mean, you're living for you, not anybody else.
Trina, is your mic on?
I can hear her.
It is.
Oh, you can't. Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that everything is okay. You overcome all of this. Is not something that's going to fix it quickly. Is something that's going to gradually get better and better and better. Just get out of your own head, thinking that oh, my life is over and all this other stuff. No, just keep continuing to live for you, not everybody else. And that's what I would tell myself.
I love it. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is absolutely beautiful. And Kendi K, I would love to hear how you would answer that question.
What would I tell my former self? Are you talking about, because I'm 50 right now? Or are you talking about before I started my GLP-1 Zepbound?
Specific to your journey, let me read it again. If you could sit beside your past self before you had your first injection, Or if you want to think about some of the hardest moments that you've had in this journey, what would you say to your former self to encourage yourself as that other version of you?
Well, I'll just say this, because that was a lot of words for me, Cara.
Sorry.
I would just say this. I was consuming and binging a lot of GLP-1 users like Mounjaro Journey with Pam, like Grant's Faithful GLP-1 Journey. And they were being so transparent, talking about their journey. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do GLP-1. I'm going to do GLP-1 and talk with a friend. And so my only regret would be waiting so long to start the medication. And I was trying so hard to get my insurance company to pay, and the network is, because it's not just the insurance company, it's the network that your employer is a part of, whether or not they're going to pay for this medication. And without having the diagnosis of diabetes, it is more difficult, especially when it is excluded as a formulary by your insurance network. Y'all, you learn all of this stuff, right? And so I was working in the last quarter, October, November, December of 2025, trying to get an exception to allow me to get the medication without having the diagnosis of diabetes. And so the doctor said, okay, well, let's give you Zepbound. It is possible. And I'm sharing this because this might be a way, if your insurance technically does not cover GLP-1s. Zepbound also is a prescribed medication for sleep apnea.
That's right.
So I went through getting a sleep study and having that sleep study, getting it scheduled, and y'all got the results. My goodness.
Awesome.
Got the results. You need moderate sleep apnea, and I have mild sleep.
Oh, dang it.
Dang. And so then it was just like, okay, well, I wanted the medication, and I knew that at 50, because I turned 50 in October, I said at 50, I know that I'm worth it. I know that I am worth it with or without money in my FSA account, but I might as well wait for the start of the new calendar year, the new benefit year, so that I can have all my FSA dollars available to me. And it is my pleasure to spend my hard-earned money, my pre-tax dollars that go in that FSA account, to spend that on my better health. But as far as what was hardest for me, taking the GLP-1 medication is not that hard, because I'm seeing the weight come off and stay off. And that, for me, as a person who has been overweight and obese all of my life, in elementary school, I was overweight, and probably by junior high, obese, right? And on and on and on. And the women in my family are large on both sides of my family. And it just is. It just is. And Pam, you made a good point. And thank you for saying it. So I'll say it again. Obesity is a disease. Absolutely. Oprah Winfrey said it. And why don't insurance companies acknowledge it? Why doesn't this, why is the medication approved for use in one country, but not yet approved here in the US? Grant mentioned that. So there's just so much, but my only regret is that I did not just immediately, for my 50th birthday gift myself the gift of taking GLP-1s. Yeah, because I'm worth it. And I know that more now than ever. I am worth it. And I want better health immediately. I want better health. And that's going to be a journey. And I'm on that journey getting to better health.
I agree wholeheartedly. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was absolutely beautiful. Y'all are amazing. And I'm so grateful for this time together. I'm so grateful for everything that you all have shared. And let's see what our friends are saying. Nancy Germain said, don't quit this journey no matter what. Don't beat yourself up if you get off track. There will be bumps in the road and detours. Keep going, and you'll be back on track before you know it. That's right, Nancy. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, look at that. Nicely put, Nancy Sue. So true. Thanks, Grant, for sharing that. And what did Pammy say? My tax person suggested keeping receipts for paying for the meds so that if you make the medical threshold for, wow, that's great. Thank you so much, Pammy, for sharing that. That's a
Right,
great tip.
because as long as you get over a certain amount in your medical part where you can itemize your deductions, you use it. There's a portion for medications. So
Wow.
definitely, yeah, just like your glasses and everything else, it's
Yes.
medication.
Oh,
And
that's so great.
Consult your tax accountant.
And
Yeah.
sadly, Pammy is exactly right. I've been told the same thing because I will be able to deduct those medical
Wonderful.
expenses. But again, I feel so empowered and so worth it as a woman of 50, because if I don't get to better health now, when it could be too late, because you all know, because every week, every month, co-workers, family members, catastrophic illness. We are at that age. I am at that age, and y'all, I don't want to experience that, because I have helped to bury some of my friends. I lost one of my best friends that I went to college with, a friend for 30 years, and she died. She had MS, and so again, my health is a priority for me. And so this moment, and I am doing this journey, my weight loss journey, for me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I was going to add, I have felt exactly the way that you all have expressed. And the way that I finally made peace with it, especially because I had to do this, I had to decide this before I got the Talks savings card, because I had already started and I was like seeing the changes and the differences. I was determined that one way or another, I was going to continue, because I realized I'm going to pay for this one way or the other. Either on the front end, I'm going to make the investment in myself and take care of myself and do what I wish insurance would do, but it wasn't. So I was going to have to do it. Or later, I was going to have to pay health and medical bills that were going to come because they were inevitable. So I just want to encourage everyone who's listening, if you are considering it, absolutely talk with your doctor, talk with your family, and talk really honestly with yourself about your situation, and do the absolute best thing for yourself, even if it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you either way. So choose your health. Choose to make a good decision that's going to bring you joy. And like, I'm only 20 pounds down, friends, but I have gained so much that it is well worth every dime that I have spent and any dime that I would need to spend in the future if something changed for me and I had to be completely self-pay. I'm still all in because it's
I
worth it.
agree.
And because I see these amazing friends and so many others who share their journey here, and to see how we're healing and how we're learning to love ourselves and to be our own best friends and all the great things that we say. We're able to look at the information, the data, and not feel insecure and not feel like we're failing anymore. It's just information. It's not something we have to judge ourselves by. So all of this is well worth everything that it's costing. Let's see what Grace and Grow with Mary is saying. I'm with Mochi compound tirzepatide, I believe about 4 months. Try Care for Life, stop paying for it. The compound comes in a canister. What can I do with them? Oh yeah, crochet a cozy. That's amazing. I love that for you, Mary. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Because again, all of those seem to be very, very good options. And Grant mentioned earlier that just because you're using a compounded formula, that does not necessarily mean that that's that gray market. That's that gray area that Grant was talking about. That is not part of that. You want to go with a reputable provider, and I think one of the ways that you know that you're with a reputable provider is because that person has healthcare providers as part of you paying for the medication, and you are required to do those visits and things. But again, my medication comes direct. If you are on Zepbound, I believe the cheapest, and you are a self-pay customer, the cheapest that I now understand is in fact direct from Lilly Direct.
I didn't have any more insight on that. That sounds great. Thank you for sharing that with us. Well,
why don't we have our folks who are in the comments, maybe if they would share what medication they're taking, or if they're thinking about taking a GLP-1.
That would be wonderful. And any questions that you all have, we'd love to answer. We would love to answer.
Can I ask a question? So there were
Please.
DeBossway, she was mentioning if the CGM has a needle, then she doesn't like needles.
Oh.
And so I was wondering, maybe Grant can tell us, does the CGM have a needle? Because I picture it to have a needle when you insert it into your body.
It does. And before I took placed my first one, I was afraid it stayed in your body. I didn't understand how it worked, but it does not. The applicator for the Libra brand, you just unscrew it and you place it on you're supposed to do it on your arms. I'll get to that in a minute, but you just kind of push it in, and that needle helps insert a little filament piece that goes inside of your arm in your interspatial fluid, or whatever they call that. And once it inserts, it comes right back out. And you really don't feel much of anything. It's not much more than, if you have the single dose pens, that pinch is pretty much what you feel. But as soon as it goes in and comes back out, you're done with that needle. And you really don't even see the needle.
Right. It's so small.
Well, that's good for people who don't like to see the needles.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're really going to concentrate on it and look inside and all, but, if you just unscrew it and do it, but
screw it to do it.
Yeah. There's a clippable moment. Anyhow, the thing I was going to mention too was, your arms are where Libra says is approved location.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
However, in using it, I sleep on my sides all the time. I mean, I can't not do that. So, they call them compression loads when you're on the device with your arm. It will go off at night and you're not actually low.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I forgot about that.
So basically, I saw some others try this and it worked for them, even though it's not approved. And of course, clear this with your doctor too. But I'm actually putting it on my thighs now, right on front, and I rotate, and that has helped those compression loads to not only stop, but when I'm exercising as well. I did some exercises on my live last night that, I was in some holsters that would have been interfered. My CGM, I couldn't have done it. So, that's another reason I like having it on my thighs too. But that's kind of a sidebar.
That's great. Thanks for asking that, Pammy. That was a great question. Awesome. So Doses of Shawnee is saying, taking Zepbound 5 milligrams, 13 months in, down 100 pounds. We celebrate that.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Deep Bossway says, I am on Zepbound 12.5 milligrams. I've met my goal weight at 168. So far, I am maintaining it. I toggle between 166 and 168. That's awesome, Deep Bossway.
Amazing.
Hey, Cookie J. She's saying, hello, panel. Hello, chat. Thank you, Cookie J, for being here. We appreciate all of you being here. Cookie J is a good friend of all these channels. Well, I tell you what, it has been an amazing afternoon with you, friends. Thank you all, panel, for being with us and for being so willing to share really private ideas and thoughts and experiences with us. It means the world. It's making a difference that you are being transparent and vulnerable, and it's encouraging other people to do the same thing. Friends in the chat, we can't thank you enough for being with us. If you weren't here, we'd just be talking to ourselves. So thank you. This was for you. Know that you matter. You matter to us, but we need for you to matter to yourself. Do what you need to do to take good care of yourself. Be your own best friend. Look at the data. Dare to look at it, whether you measure your weight or your measurements once a week or once a day. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself because you are well worth it. Thank you so much for being with us. Until next time, be well, be well, be well. Bye, everybody. Thank you all for being with me. Love you guys. Have a great